Good evening, everybody, and welcome back once again to your Monday night. It is me, JT the Redneck. I'm dragging Sully the Geek right behind me. He's kicking and screaming, acting like a little girl, but that's okay. Tonight, it is Avenger Pretenders. We are back with a bang because it is episode 2 of Daredevil Born Again. Some good stuff, my friends. We're going to have some fun with this. So do me a favor. Grab whatever adult beverage or whatever it is that you want to drink, something to munch on. Sit back in that beanbag chair and make sure you put the seatbelt on because it's going to be a bumpy ride, no doubt. Sully, it's all yours.
Oh, I thank you, sir. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Avenger Pretenders. Yes, St. Patrick's Day special edition of Avengers Pretenders. So why not? It's going to be fun and awesome, and we're going to do what we need to do and have a great time. So yay, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We're going to get right down to the nitty gritty because, well, last week we did episode 1, which is, in my opinion, really great. And we need to see if we can bump JT up to what, 4.5, I think it was, or would you have 3.75? What was the number?
I was at a 3.75.
3.75. So we're trying to bump him up to a 4.
We are attempting to get it up to a 4.
Yes. Which I'm hoping we might be able to do. I really do.
We shall see.
I think we might be able to.
We shall see.
Just putting it out there. So buckle up, folks. You're in for a wild ride. And for some reason, I needed to update. I'm not live on TikTok at the moment because apparently my device updated and I didn't fix it for some odd, strange reason. So we're going to get that going right now because why not? It's going to be great. Going to be great. That's what it is. And I broke stuff. There we go. All fixed. All fixed. So, yes. Episode 2. Before we get
to try this again?
Yeah, we're going to try it again. So,
okay.
With episode 2, again, we're talking about Daredevil Born Again. We're on episode 2. But before we do that, last week we left some stuff out on purpose. Well, I did, anyway. Yeah. And the reason I did is because there's a little bit of a side story going on in episode 1 that ties directly to episode 2. Yeah. Now, for many of you, you're probably going, well, I watched it. I don't remember anything like that. And I'm going to be like, you're lying.
Yeah, you do.
You're lying because you do. So the one thing that we left out with this one is obviously Karen Page is now off in San Francisco. She doesn't work with Matt anymore. The death of Foggy kind of hit her hard and drove her and Matt away from each other. It sucked. They sort of tackled it a little bit, but Karen was like, nope, I ain't touching it. I'm done. I'm just walking away. I've got a new life in San Francisco. So,
sorry.
Sorry for what?
I said bitch.
Like, how dare you, sir?
How dare you leave this man in his time of need?
The nerve of you.
Some people, I tell you.
Putting it out there. Like, how dare you? The nerve. Absolute nerve. Well, when it comes down to this, we have a new character. We have a couple of new characters. Character number 1 is Matt Murdock's new partner in a law firm. Mm-hmm. And that's okay because, a lawyer's got to work. So in this case, we have McDuffie. Yes, McDuffie. Good old McDuffie. For those that don't know, she is another lawyer. Yay. Her name is Kristen. And Kristen and Matt are partners that work all the time. But in Kristen McDuffie's case, she also has a life outside of the law firm and also talks about that all the time. Matt's life outside the law firm is pretty much going, eating, and coming home and doing whatever, and that's about it. He doesn't have much of a life outside
He's
of
a
that.
focused single man.
Yes, very, very focused indeed. And the one thing that he is lacking is a love interest. Now, for those that know Daredevil, you know that his love interest is Elektra Natchios. However, Elektra Natchios is not in this season. I don't even think she's going to be in the series. It'll be cool if they do bring Elektra back in, but she's gone. So, we see Matt go into a coffee shop, and that coffee shop just so happens to have a, quote, potential client, end quote. And I say that for a reason, quote. That client that Matt thinks is going to be a new client for the law firm is Heather Glenn. Now, for most people, Heather Glenn probably doesn't even make ends meet or connects any dots for you in the Marvel universe. However, she is, in fact, a therapist in the comic books and is a love interest of Matt Murdock, on again, off again in the comics. Big Tank via Twitch says Elektra is supposed to come back. They were in talks with the one that was in Defenders. Yeah, but it hasn't been official and it's only rumors. So we'll just keep Elektra out of it for now. She may return in season 2. Who knows? Anything can happen. They're already talking about Kristen Ritter coming back for season 2 as Jessica Jones. Maybe they'll get the others for it, but as of right now, they're not doing Defenders. They're not even bringing other people in, but we'll see, because anything's possible, especially Luke Cage. I hope they bring him back, but that's besides the point, okay? But Heather Glenn, now, again, she's a therapist, and McDuffie is her friend, where she thought that Matt was going to be a client for her, and Matt thought she was going to be a client for him, which was totally false. She did that just to get them together, mainly to meet up and go out on a date, so to speak. So, you know, pleasantries aside, quick quips and everything, they go back and forth, and, well, wasn't exactly the best friend thing to do, because both of them were confused. Both of them thought they were getting their time wasted. However, Matt throws on his charm, and they sit and have coffee, which is good, because then they start talking about McDuffie and how, you know, she should never have done that and butted into their lives and so on and so forth. So that's one of the reasons why I kept her out of last episode, because it was a small little side story. Now, obviously, when Matt gets back to the law firm, he, you know, flat out tells her, don't ever do that again, but give me her number and I'll call her and we'll do what they need to do, you know, and they start hitting it off. So at least something good was coming out of episode 1 that can now lead into episode 2. Now with episode 2, Oh boy. Episode 2, we see some interesting things.
Just a few.
Just a few. And now, JT, I know you had the speaker on, so you could hear me. So we brought in our wonderful therapist, Heather Glenn.
Did you mention how his relatively new law partner crossed the line?
Yes, I did, and both agreed with each other that she crossed the line, which is perfect.
It's kind of a little mini fight about who was going to kick her ass.
Yeah, which again brought them closer together, and they started talking and doing what they needed to do. So, with this episode, Optics, there's a couple of different things going on. First and foremost, we see the introduction to Hector Ayala. Now, we've already heard mention of White Tiger in the previous episode. We also...
they actually showed him. They actually showed him for a couple of seconds.
Yeah, showed him for a couple of seconds. But this starts off on New Year's Eve, where Wilson Fisk is addressing the people of New York City, saying that he's going to fix the ongoing issues with people like the Punisher, Spider-Man, Daredevil, White Tiger, all of these... What's the word I'm looking for here?
Vigilantes.
Vigilantes, yes. Now, one could probably argue that Spider-Man is not a vigilante. Bull, he is. And this is coming from diehard Spider-Man fan, okay?
He is, but he's a different kind of vigilante.
He's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, okay? Simple as that. Now, first and foremost, when it comes to this episode, I will bring stuff up later on that has to do with the actor that played Hector Ayala, but we're going to wait until next week for to go over episode 3, okay? But this one, obviously, we see that Wilson Fisk has won the race. He is now going to be the mayor-elect of New York City. Hector Ayala, also known as White Tiger, we don't know this at the time, but we find it out later on, goes into a subway and notices two guys getting really rough with somebody else. And I mean beating the living crap out of this guy. Okay?
Right.
Turns out it's two cops, but we don't find that out until a little bit of action comes into play, where Hector, in the subway, tells them, knock it off, leave him alone, and they attack him. And we see this happening, and it's like, whoa. This is setting up the entire episode, okay? Because now we have a witness that's running away, and we have two people trying to take out Hector Ayala for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And that's really what this was. It was wrong place, wrong time.
It was the wrong place, wrong time thing, but at the same time, he could have turned around and walked away because they never saw him until he spoke up.
True. Very true.
So he could, he was about, I'd say, 3/4 of the way down the steps
yes.
into the subway when he saw them, saw what was going on. So as a regular person,
yes,
okay, he had the ability to say, well, I don't want to get involved, and turn around and go back up the steps.
Oh, yeah, absolutely he did.
But he decided not to do that. He decided, okay, I need to get involved and help this guy out.
Yeah, because it was the right thing to do.
For.
He was a good Samaritan at that point in time.
Yes. Yeah. And, that was my thinking too. Is, he's a good guy.
Sure.
who just wanted to help out somebody who obviously didn't know how to fight, didn't know how to protect himself.
Yep. He
So
got
a
roughed up.
lot of credit to that part of his character of having the balls to go step in
Yes.
to the situation, because most people won't do that.
Absolutely. Now, the other thing with this is most people obviously wouldn't get involved.
Right.
But for somebody who's got a background as being a vigilante, obviously they're going to get involved because it's the right thing to do. Now, the one thing you have to remember about White Tiger, in order for them to have their superpowers, there's a medallion that they wear, or an amulet, so to speak, that gives them the powers that they have. All right? That's just from the comics. It is what it is. Well, because of that, those two are now fighting him, and it is chaos. Because the two are now attacking Hector, and he's basically wiping the floor with them without an amulet on, without the superpowers, without the costume and all of that. But unfortunately, it ends up to one of them being thrown off the tracks, or in my view, and I'm sure everybody else's view, the guy went to punch and he moved and went flying, and a train hits him.
Yeah, he didn't get thrown.
So therefore, technically speaking, there was no murder.
No.
No murder. The guy jumped. Technically.
No,
Now,
jumped, fell. Kind of a semantics case there.
once that police officer went flying off and gets hit by the train and pretty much goes splat.
Oh, he did go splat.
Oh, he did. That's when we find out that they were police officers, and now Hector Ayala is now arrested for attacking a police officer and killing a police officer.
Well, and Tank makes the major point here that needs to be made. They never identified themselves as
true.
Police until the one got splatted and the other one pulled out his badge and gun.
Yes. Want to say hi to Megan, who just came on, Mad Jelly on TikTok. Hello. Want to say hi to everybody else who's viewing via TikTok as well. You'll have to pardon me if I don't see your name pop up right away, because obviously we're doing a little bit of a podcast here, and that's okay. I apologize. I do. I apologize. But I love you all. Like the live, share the live, tell your friends, especially if they're into the Marvel Universe and watching Daredevil. We're a week behind, so we shouldn't have to worry about anybody getting spoilers, because episode 3 was just last week and episode 4 is coming out this week. This one is painting the picture of what is to come now, since we have the love interest from last episode, and now we see Hector Ayala, the White Tiger, being introduced and now being arrested on the spot for killing a police officer.
Right. Well, and the big thing was my reaction, because the gun came out and it went on mine. It went into commercial, and I looked at Kay, and Kay looked at me and I look at her, I go, dirty cops.
Yep.
I mean, that's what it came across to for me.
Yeah.
Because you would have figured, at the point that he was walking up to get involved, if they were good cops,
yes,
they would have identified, hey, we're the police, we're taking care of something here, just back off.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they didn't do that.
No.
They got in a fight with the guy, and one of them got splatted all across the subway of New York.
He became goo. Liquid goo.
They literally found parts of him from 51st to 54th Street.
Yes. Yeah. But again, now this is paving what's coming up within these next couple of episodes, and it's going to be really important. Okay.
And again, we don't know at this point in time, we don't know that it's White Tiger.
Right. We don't.
White Tiger, we just say, hey, guy knows how to defend himself. He knows how to fight.
Right.
So,
So, aside from a little few things like that, this is going to show you that not only is this a paving stone for the vigilantes in New York City who have probably helped the Avengers at one point in time and so on and so forth. Want to say hi to Andrea, who just chimed in on TikTok as well. Hello, darling. Good to see you. Megan, thank you for the likes on the live. I appreciate it as always. More likes, the better. Anybody who wants to talk, chime in. Don't hesitate to say hi. I want to say hi to Jess as well. We're having a good time tonight. But yes, Big Tank, and I know JT, you already said his topic was that they never said that they were cops. You're right. They never introduced them. They never showed a badge until after the partner was already dead. Now, at this point in time, we also have Wilson Fisk and his wife talking about politics and the anti-vigilante agenda that they have, that they're using to get ahead in the polls and win the mayoral election, which is what they did. They've got a lot of work to do. But the really important thing here is with Hector being arrested, obviously he is now in jail. They're processing him. They're questioning him. But Matt Murdock's also at the precinct for another situation that was going on with a client of his.
I think it was a DUI kind of thing.
Yep.
He said something like she was 0.05 or something.
Yep,
like
0.5 over the limit, going through the whole shebang. But Matt has that supersonic hearing, and I say supersonic hearing because he can really focus in on specific things. And he hears Hector being pressured and punched, being brutally attacked in the interrogation room. And that's when he steps in.
One of the lines he heard was, "You will sign a confession."
Yeah. You will. Because, again, now, everybody knows, well, those who know me know that I am the son of a police officer. There are good cops and there are bad cops. More good cops than bad cops. However, Big Tank, he was being tuned up, as they say. Yes. Tuned up is probably the best way you can put it. Now, cop killers, doesn't matter who you are, whether you did it or not, you have a target on your back the size of the planet. And in this case, they're trying to make an example out of Hector, and they're going to.
Well, and you have to understand the narrative that they set with this.
Yes.
Because it wasn't the narrative of we were beating the crap out of somebody else. This guy stepped in, so we beat the crap out of him. While we were beating the crap out of him, my partner fell off the platform and got splattered by a train.
Yep.
That's not the narrative that they were painting for this.
Yes.
It was completely that he just out of nowhere attacked them, shoved the other officer into the train, and so therefore, not only is he getting charged with 2 counts of attempted murder, he's also getting charged with one charge of murder.
Yeah, and it's
of a police officer,
and it's bad.
Yeah, so they painted it in a very, very bad way for him.
Yeah,
for Hector.
Now Matt does his lawyer thing, but he also does his daredevil thing, and he says, I'm his lawyer. Be gone. Tell me your story. Tell me the truth. I will know if you're lying. And he tells the whole truth, exactly what happened.
And it was very interesting how he judged on whether or not Hector was being truthful with him.
So he listens. He listens to the heartbeats of people.
Yep.
Because normally when somebody's caught in a lie, they get very worked up. They get very agitated, or their heart starts pounding in their chest because they don't want to get caught. But when you have somebody like Matt Murdock who can hear that type of thing, you're like, just tell me the truth and be done with it. And that's when he picks him up as his client. And Hector's like, dude, I can't afford you, man. Pro bono.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Now,
don't worry about it.
Now, the one thing about this, He knows what he's doing. Matt Murdock knows what he's doing. But he also knows the risk that he's going to be taking defending somebody who is accused of murdering a police officer. Woo! Yeah. That's an all hands on deck. You're going down, dude.
Yeah, and it's usually that kind of thing is usually something that a new public defender would get for a case.
Yep. Brand spanking
they're
new,
gonna
like
stick their lowest, dumbest,
yep,
newest person on it that they can.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And the thing about this is it also gets word to Fisk about this happening, a cop killer. Now, mind you, Wilson Fisk is not the most likable person when it comes to police officers. Just
He
putting
had
it
a little
out there.
bit of a rocky relationship, shall we say, with law enforcement up to this point.
A little bit of a bumpy ride. Yeah, I'll say that. But the other thing with this is, as Wilson Fisk and his associates are traveling to Brooklyn, they're stuck in traffic. They're getting he's getting political advice. Reminds me of a lot what's going on today these days, but again, we shy away from that. Yeah. He's getting political advice from his advisors, and he's stuck in traffic, and there's a big hole in the ground, and they're working on it. They got stuff around and all that good shit, but
they're not doing anything.
They're not doing anything because they can't do anything because the DOT is like, well, we can't. We need this, and this. And Fisk
were waiting on a form to get signed.
A form to get signed, or there was a permit too. I think there was, right?
Yeah, the permit to get approved. That's what it was.
The permit to get approved. And Fisk gets out of his car, walks over to the hole, and all his people are like, you can't just do this. You can't just get out of the car. He goes, I'm the mayor. Watch me. What are you doing, Mr. Mayor? I'm getting things done. Foreman, you have my permission to fill this hole.
Yeah, what are we waiting for? We're waiting for the permit to be signed.
Yep.
Or to be approved. Consider it approved.
Fill the hole. Fix it. Get it done.
I wish that things would actually happen like that.
Oh my God. You know how many things would be done so quickly if they did?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Like really, and don't get me wrong. I get the whole, you need a permit, you need permission, you need this, and this. But
there's got to be some leeway in there to get shit done, especially when it's a major thoroughfare road.
Right.
And this hole is taking up pretty much 2 lanes right in the center of a 3-lane road.
Sure. And the other thing is, here's the other thing. This flat out gets the people more behind him. The people
optics
are now, woo, wait a minute, this guy got stuff done. Because he's using the old mob mentality with the political arena going, no. I'm in charge.
Playing it well.
Which one?
I said he's playing it well.
Oh, yeah. And he's just like, nope, I'm in charge. This is me. I tell you what to do, not somebody else. Get it done. Yep. And everybody today's got cell phones, so they're all taking video of this happening. And he is eating it up. We are filling this hole. We are fixing this road. I am the mayor that gets stuff done. And boom, that was it. And the people were like, woo, okay. Yeah.
And it's funny because his political advisor,
it was like, no, you can't
telling her, was telling him that all about, it's the optics, your first 100 days, it's the optics about everything. You got to work your way in and blah, 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 and all this other crap.
Yep.
Which is true. Anytime, if you're starting a new business or if you're taking over a position or whatever, there's a lot of optics involved.
Yes.
So she's not wrong in what she was saying.
Very.
But there's different ways of going about creating the optics of things. She
Oh, yeah.
wanted to take the slow, easy, safe route, whereas Fisk is like, no.
No.
I told people I campaigned on the fact that I was going to fix things in this city. Now I was going to bring it back to its former glory.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of the Rudy Giuliani thing and all of that. And this was a chance for him to show
Yes.
that he was the I'm going to fix it guy.
Yes.
So, and then he turned around, looked at her, goes, were those the kind of optics you were talking about?
Maybe.
And she's like, yeah, it was.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, I think you did the right thing there. Just saying. Just putting it out
and it's
there.
all about timing, you know, with that kind of thing. It's the timing of it, and it's where you do it, how you do it, and that kind of thing. And this worked out perfectly for what he was trying to do.
Hands down.
You know,
Hands down, because now you've got one of the biggest criminal masterminds in New York as the mayor and fixing up the town. But think about it. What did the mafia do in their territories in New York?
they took care of them.
They took
fixed them
care
up.
of everybody. Now, don't get me wrong, shakeups and all that good shit, that, you know, that was all the rage as well. But
You mean shakedowns?
shakeups and shakedowns, bribes, fines. Hey, you know, you owe me this for protecting your store, that type of thing. That was all over.
Yeah.
That was all over with a criminal empire like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So using that, now he's like, no, I'm the head. We're going to get this done. And he did. Right then and there. No, you don't have to go through anybody else. I'm the mayor. Give me the form. I'll sign it.
Consider it approved. And, you know, he says, get to work. And foreman calls all his guys, and you see him running towards the hole to start fixing it.
Yeah. But at the same time, that's probably going to ruffle a lot of feathers.
Yeah.
Because, you know, all the people that work under him are going to be like, you can't do that. Yes, I can. Simple as that. Now,
Well, I done did it, so.
Yeah, I done did it, and that's it. Now, the other thing with this is all happening while Matt now needs to talk to Kirsten about Hector Ayala and representing him. And she and Cherry are just like, are you stupid? Dude, you're going to defend a alleged cop killer now. And Matt's like,
optics in the world.
yeah. Well, Kirsten's like, dude, Matt, we can't do that. We can't handle, this is going to be like, whew, this is way too big. We can't handle the workload as it is. Hold up, time out. But Matt stuck his ground. He's like, no, I'm defending him. He's innocent. I know he's innocent. I trust he's innocent. I trust his story. Now, Cherry, as we all know, is retired police who knows Matt's secret, and he's their investigator for the firm. He's torn right now.
Yeah.
As a retired police officer, that man is torn 6 ways from Sunday. Because now he's saying to himself, shit, I got to work on this. I have to be biased because I'm an investigator. I have to get all the information that he asks me to get. But I got to put my personal feelings aside for this whole vigilante thing. And this guy's an alleged cop killer. So now I'm going to be working for the guy who's taking on this case. Shit.
Right.
It's intense. Like, I loved the meeting in the room that the 3 of them were having. It was just like, dude, what's wrong with you? Why are you doing this? And to me, I think at least Cherry had every right to be pissed. Like every right. Because again, we didn't know the whole story yet.
I don't think he was really pissed though. I think, you know, it was an internal struggle with himself. But like you said, he also knows Matt.
Yes.
And he knows Matt's not going to take on a case like this.
Yep.
Conflicted, yeah.
Big time.
I don't think he was pissed though.
He was definitely conflicted for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Without a doubt.
But I did like Matt's task for him. And the only task was talk to the wife, find the witness that he's talking about. Find that person.
Yeah.
We need that person in order for our case to stick.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. It makes perfect sense. In a legal arena, you need that one witness that can see everything and back everything up to get the person off. You know? However, at the same time, I'm like, I don't know about this. It's not going to be good. Because that witness went running and you never saw him again.
He disappeared.
Acted
like a cockroach when the lights came on and just went poof.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Then, of course, you know, the hearing that they had scheduled for the trial.
What hearing?
Yeah, well, exactly.
Railroading.
Railroad. If that's how you want to call it, railroading.
I mean, he never stood a chance, and I understand where the judge is coming from, but he should have at least listened to Murdoch's argument.
Yep.
But
Which he didn't. He never did.
He never gave him a chance.
Well, part of that is one, because he's a judge. Two, he's also been one to preside over many cases involving police officers.
Mm-hmm.
And that courtroom was just full of police officers. So so now you have the intimidation factor of the police force right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to know. They want to know what's up. They want blood because one of their own was killed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with that being said, clearly they hold him without bail, which you kind of knew was coming. But at the same time, Matt's like, whoa, time out. You should at least hear about his military record and what he does in the community as a nice guy, like doing all of this. And
or trying to.
Right. And Judge Cooper's like, nope, next, boom, get out of my courtroom. So he already knew right then and there. And you know what? You had to kind of expect that from a judge, at least in the MCU, not a real judge. A real judge will actually have to hear all of that stuff. But when it comes to certain things like this, whew, yikes.
Yeah, you're fighting your way up Mount Everest with roller skates on.
Yep.
You know.
Absolutely. Now, we also see Bibi Urich, Ben Urich's niece, at City Hall trying to get a one-on-one with the mayor. I thought this was interesting.
Wait, how so?
If you had noticed, most of the time when Wilson was doing some type of press conference, it was either at his home, in his office, like actually at the desk, and with very few press around.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to take the meeting with Bibi, just because she met Daniel Blake and became acquainted with them and got his number and,
Gave him her phone number.
yes, weaseled her, and I'm going to say that, weaseled her way into being able to meet him and talk to him and doing all
She
that.
used her womanly wile.
Yeah. Well, that and the she's the starving young journalist that needs that opening thing, that one story that's gonna make her serious. Now, mind you, all we've seen are clips and vignettes on some of the talk around town, because that's what she does. She interviews people around town and getting their opinions on the vigilantes, on Wilson Fisk being mayor, and everything that's happening with the crime and all that. So she's already making her way.
The beat on the streets.
But she's using that on social media. She's doing it online. She's not part of a newspaper. She's a podcaster / blogger, but she's doing what she needs to do in order to get the word out there and the story out there.
Yeah.
And when she mentions that, she's the niece of Ben Urich, Fisk flat out opens up that Ben was a great journalist. This is where the first series comes into play. Ben Urich. Poor Ben Urich. Now, Ben was murdered by Fisk. Okay. Yeah.
I kind of wondered.
Yep. Now, he wasn't beat up. He wasn't shot. His face wasn't crushed in by Wilson's hands. Fisk strangled him to death. Now, don't get me wrong, Urich fought back.
Oh, yeah.
But Fisk
Naturally.
outpowered him because he's strong.
Well, he was huge.
Yeah. He's a big guy. He's got muscles. He's got tone. He did all that. But he also did it in his home and left him there with a photograph of himself and his wife lying broken beside him. So there was a whole big shebang, but Fisk is the one that did it. However, he didn't tell BB this, but you can kind of tell. Now, she had a certain amount of questions that she could ask, but she also kind of drew the line by asking a question about Commissioner Gallo and retiring.
And then she didn't just step over the line. She put on a rocket pack.
Yes.
And launched herself over the line. Because she asked the question about Fisk's wife.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as she said that, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, time's up.
Yep.
I'm out of time.
Oh, yeah.
But thank you for get the fuck out of my office.
Now get out of here.
In a nice way. He didn't actually say that.
Oh, yeah, no, he was very civil. He just said, time's up.
Yeah.
I
almost expected to see the old Fisk come out for a minute.
Yeah, you could kind of see it in his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But the good thing is that it didn't. Which, I mean, it's a young girl. It's a young journalist. She's just trying to make a name for herself. So she knows kind of what the danger is that could be in there, Right. Well, that sparks something else, because now we reach back out to Heather Glenn. And again, this is why I kept her out from last episode, because she is now in the process of presenting her new book and reading her new book, Live Without Fear, A Guide to Confronting Trauma.
How
Man
convenient.
without fear, living without fear. Yep. Nice play on words there, Marvel.
Right?
But,
Try a little harder next time.
well, that's the thing. We see we see Buck Cashman, who's a part of Wilson Fisk's team, approach her and starts talking to her during a meet and greet. We don't know what it's about, but we just see him there. He's a prominent factor in things. We also, yep, go ahead.
I was gonna say, but he played it.
Very subtle.
He played the role
Yes.
very in a way that he would hopefully get the results that he wanted, which was for her to open up a slot
Yes.
for, at the time, we thought for him to be a new client of hers because he was very sheepish, very
Yeah.
withheld, you know, like he had been through a lot of things. That he
I'd like
was
to
on the
hire
edge.
you.
You know, he really, really played up the role in order to get, in my opinion, in order to get her sympathies.
Yep.
To open things up for him, for supposedly him to be a new client of hers if she was taking new clients.
Yes. Well, we don't really get much, but she
No,
did.
not at all.
She did kind of like, yeah, I'm seeing people. It's good.
Here's my email. I
Yeah.
can move things around.
Now Fisk at the same time attends the funeral of Shanahan, who was hit by the train. And there's a lot of talk between him and Commissioner Gallo about how he shouldn't be here, because
Man,
that was a smash in the face. That wasn't a smack. That was a smash.
that was intense.
That was crazy, is what it was.
and this is a guy who knows Fisk's background.
Oh yeah, and how
He
every
knows
cop
who Fisk
there,
used to be.
well, that and every cop there does not like him.
Yeah. You know, so, and he's like, well, you know, we need to try and fix this.
Mend
And
fences.
Gallo's like, no.
Yeah, this isn't happening. You're on your own, dude. Good luck. Good luck.
But for him, in the olden days, and I keep going back to the olden days, and there's a reason for that.
Yep.
Because the Fisk that we know
Oh, he's bad dude. Bad
was
dude.
a sadistic son of a bitch.
Yes.
You know, you've got to be a sadistic son of a bitch to choke somebody out with your own hands.
Yes.
Okay. And Gallo knows that he hasn't been able to prove it,
True.
but he knows that Fisk is behind several of his officers.
He knows it's
dying.
there.
Yeah. And he wants nothing to do with Fisk.
Nope.
And he just straight out I mean, dude, if this would have happened with the old Fisk would have laid him down right then and there.
Oh yeah, hands down,
No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He'd have taken him out,
without a doubt.
you know? And so I'm watching this confrontation and my jaw is on the floor.
Because that guy would love to have punched him, for sure.
Oh,
For
I
sure.
was waiting for the knockdown drag out to start.
Yep.
But then my brain said, no, he's Mr. Honorable Mayor now. He's not going to do that.
Now, again, he also says that, listen, you're just a criminal that's looking for attention.
Wolf in sheep's clothing, basically.
Yep, pretty much. You want the people to love you. Public approval.
Says they can't understand why Fisk would give up his criminal empire to become a mayor and have less power and less money.
Yep. But at the same time, he also threatened him. You step out of line, I'm coming for you.
Yep.
Because he can. The commissioner can. He can do any type of investigation. Doesn't matter if you're a mayor or not.
Right.
He can.
Well, and he brought up
as long as he's
a
got
mayor-
probable cause, you're under investigation.
Yeah, he brought up a mayor. I want to say it was like in the 1860s or something like that.
Yep.
Who was mayor of New York for 1 week.
Yeah.
And he told Fisk to his face, my goal is to make your reign as mayor shorter than his.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, you say that to a regular guy,
Ooh,
and that's
be
going to
running.
piss him off.
he'd be running.
You say that to Fisk?
Them's fighting words.
No, them's killing words.
Also true. Now, as this is happening, Cherry's doing his job. He's going and talking with McDuffie to Hector's house to speak to his wife. And as McDuffie and his wife are talking, Cherry's, kind of doing his thing. He's snooping around, looking for things. And he finds out that Hector is the White Tiger. And he's the suit and the amulet of power. And that kind of pisses Matt off a little bit because Hector withheld that information.
Well, and I wanted to go back to that, to when Fisk met, or not Fisk, when Matt met Hector at the police station.
Yes.
Because he asked him, or, in his line of questioning, he asked him, did you do it? Did you murder these police officers? This police officer, like they're saying you did. And, he says, obviously, he says no. And Matt's listening to his heartbeat, and his heartbeat is calm and steady.
Yeah.
And then Matt asks him, is there anything else that I need to know? Which is, is a normal question that, do you have things in your past that I need to know about that we're going to have to address?
Yeah.
And as soon as he asked that, Hector's heartbeat shot up.
Yep.
So Matt knows he's lying about that. He knows, or he believes, that he didn't kill the police officer.
Yes.
But he knows he's hiding
secrets-
something.
Keeping secrets bad.
Yeah, and I mean that was the to me that was the main things that they wanted in that part.
Yes.
Was those two things. Yes, he didn't kill him, but yes, he's hiding something and he lied about.
Yeah. So obviously Matt was on a date with Glenn at the time. So when he got that call, date was over, and he went to Rikers to talk to him because he can. But at the same time, flat out told him, by the way, without Daredevil, the streets aren't protected. Someone had to step up and do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I did it.
Yeah, and obviously he doesn't know that Matt.
Right. He doesn't know. Yeah. But, Matt did the whole protecting Daredevil type thing. And he goes, eventually something's going to come out. And I need to know.
Yeah.
Are we going to use this or are we not?
For not telling him.
Well, that, and, he flat out said, are we going to use this or not? And that's when they also started talking about the beatings that he's getting with his inmates and the guards. They're kicking his ass. They're beating him up because he's a cop killer.
Yep.
Or at least they say he is.
And the officers.
Now, to back up a couple of things, we're just going to go over very quickly. The next day, Fisk is at City Hall, and we've got Commissioner Gallo meeting up with him, handing in his resignation. I'm not working for you.
Fisk, as of midnight tonight.
Yep. Fisk pulls out a laundry list of things that he's going to do if he resigns, including, but not limited to, health benefits and everything, overtime, you name it, anything that police officers can get to help them financially, medically, you name it. Gone. He's going to pull the plug. All overtime. Gone. And then he showed a picture of his wife and son, indirectly going, listen, if you do this, you got a problem. So he's still pulling the I'm the kingpin, don't mess with me.
Yeah, it was neat the way he did it, though.
Oh, yeah.
He goes into this off-the-wall subject about sandwiches.
Yep.
And Philly cheesesteaks because Gallo was originally from Philly.
Yep.
And he used that, and he's just, best place I've found is this little restaurant just outside of town.
Yeah. Which he knew is where he grew up.
Eating a sandwich from there.
Mm-hmm.
and he lifts up the wrapper.
And there's the picture.
And there's the picture. I was like, oh, now that's freaking slick.
Slick, smart. He knows what he's doing. He's the kingpin of crime.
Yep.
You don't
But
want
still,
to match wits.
When you see somebody pull out a move like that,
Yep.
don't matter how, what you know of them, they pull out a slick move like that
Oh, yeah.
and instantaneously make a person who was like, screw you, I'm done,
Yep.
turn around and say, okay, I'll stay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, the other thing.
It was nice the way he did it.
Now we got a couple of different things going on here after the that whole situation going on, because now Cherry is still looking for the witness, and now we've got Murdoch who has to bring up this information about Ayala being White Tiger, and if this comes out, whoa, bad. We have to keep it off the record no matter what. And of course, the judge is like, what do you want me to do? My hands are tied here. And he goes, no, this has to happen. Because then the juries are going to be unfairly biased, and we don't want that. We still want to keep it to the rule of law. We still want justice to be prevailed. So White Tiger will not be discussed in the courtroom no matter what, even though Hochberg, who's the representing the state there, is frustrated with the idea and wants to bring it up. They're like, no, done. Now,
I think there's one mistake I think Matt made in this confrontation with the judge. I loved his argument.
Yep.
His argument was based in fact, was based in law and everything else. But the point where I think a normal judge, any other judge,
Yep,
would have sat there and said, you know what, screw you.
Yeah.
Was when he sat there and went, and it's your job to make sure that this doesn't happen.
yes.
I mean, really? You're going to confront a judge like that when you're trying to get him to make a decision that's going to be beneficial to you?
So that's the thing. What he did as a lawyer, because in order to be a judge, you have to be a lawyer.
Right.
He flat out told him, no, you have to do that. You're the judge. You're in charge. Yeah. You know the laws.
Yeah, this is your job. And like I said, that one little line kind of made me go, ooh.
Yeah, it was a zing for sure.
I mean, it was true, but most of the time you don't want to sit there as a lawyer who's going to be presenting in front of this judge.
Yep.
Is tell this judge that this is his job.
Yeah. Now,
so he did that, and I kind of went, ooh.
Now, we do have to kick this up, so I want to finish real quick. Cherry is in the process of finding the witness. Okay.
Yes.
Still has some information, but even Cherry's like, dude, you got to back off. That this is crazy. I'm not having any luck finding this guy. He's the only thing in between exonerating him and keeping him in jail. We got to find him. And Cherry's like, dude, I'm trying. But you've got nothing right now. Nothing that you can't prove in court. He's like, you got to do it. You got to find him. Just find him. And you can see Matt's getting pissed. Mm-hmm. Because if Matt was Daredevil, he probably would have found him by now. But he's being good. He's not being Daredevil. So, as things are going on, Matt decides, all right, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to follow his partner, and I'm going to find out where he is so I can do what I need to do to find this witness. And at that same exact time, the Fisks, here's why I kept things out.
Extra S in there.
They now show up at Glenn's office for couples therapy. And the reason that they're in couples therapy is because Vanessa cheated on Wilson while Wilson was gone. Wilson was, you know, a little indisposed, ran away, was hiding. Mostly because he was attacked by Echo, shot in the face. We know that.
Ouch.
And that was a whole big ordeal.
Mm-hmm.
We know that. And he wants to stay connected to his wife. He wants to make this work. You can tell Vanessa kind of wants to make it work too, but she's very angry with Wilson for leaving and doing what he did. But she doesn't know how to feel now that he's back.
Yeah.
So now you know why I kept it out from last episode. Because it's directly tied to this episode.
I have to break in here because there's one question that has been created by this.
Which is?
Does Fisk know that Matt is seeing Glenn?
No.
Okay.
At least not yet, anyway.
It just seemed to be way too convenient.
It does.
You know, it made me go, wait a minute here.
But it is also possible that he might know. As of right now, we can see that he doesn't. So, aside from that, because that's a whole big ordeal, now we have Matt following Powell, and he starts hearing things. They found the witness. They found the witness. The police found the witness. And Matt hears a phone call saying he's home. Take him out.
I'll meet you there.
Meet you there, buddies. So, it happens to where Matt gets there before them, gets him out of the building, and the two cops that are there to take out the witness, instead of seeing the witness, they see Matt.
Real quick.
Yep.
As he takes off to go to the guy's house, he calls Cherry.
Yes.
Tells Cherry to go to such and such a place.
Meet up with him.
And then he tells the witness,
Yep.
Go here. I have a person there who's going to pick you up and take care of you.
Yep. So Powell and Williams are the two officers.
Yeah.
And Matt flat out tells him, listen, guys, don't do something stupid. You don't want to do that. Now, mind you, he's blind.
They beat the crap out of him, too.
Blind. So they assault Matt.
Oh, they didn't just assault. They beat the living crap out of him.
But here's the thing. Powell threatens to kill him and says we need to kill him.
Click, click, click.
And after that happens, Matt kind of does a 360 and kicks the living shit out of him.
Well, I mean, in all reality, he had no choice.
Oh, without a doubt.
You know, I mean, he's sitting there and he goes, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do this. And then all he hears is click, click, click as the cop pulls the hammer back.
Yep.
I would have done the same damn thing.
Now, mind you, let's see. One of their heads came in contact with the fridge. Both of their heads came in contact with the table and the floor at least one point in time.
Multiple times.
I think, didn't somebody almost go through a wall?
A couple times.
Yeah. But it got to the point where...
The one thing was this little banister with the wooden poles.
Yes.
One guy went through one of those, went through that.
And it gets to the point where Matt wipes the floor with them and he screams at the top of his lungs because he swore he wouldn't do stuff like that again.
Well, in a year's worth, or, you know, a couple of years worth of anger and frustration and everything else. And
when it came to push to shove, all he was doing was defending himself. Now, at the same time, those two guys can't go to their supervisor and go, dude, we got our asses kicked by a blind guy, because nobody would believe that whatsoever.
Yeah.
Nobody.
And you had that big scream, and then it just...
And that was it. It was the end of the episode.
Yeah.
End of the episode. So
you get to start this time.
I get to start this time? Oh, yeah, that's right. It's episode 2, right? So for me, this was a little bit faster paced than the previous episode, which was great.
Yep.
I loved how they were showing Wilson as the mayor, basically doing what he wants to get things done, to get the approval of the people. I love the tension between him and Commissioner Gallo. And I love the fact that these crooked cops got their asses handed to them by Matt Murdock, obviously. But it was also one of those things that he was like, no, I don't want to do this, man. Don't bother. But I like that they kept it going. I love that they brought White Tiger into the play. Now, I can't talk about it now. We'll talk about it next week for episode 3, because, there's a reason I can't talk about it, and I don't want to give any spoilers away, because you have to watch episode 3. So for me, this episode, I'm giving a 4. It was good. It was really good.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you said for this episode so far. I mean, the pacing, like you said, it was a little bit faster.
Yes.
But it was still perfectly timed.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You didn't feel like you were sitting there for 50 minutes.
No.
This was a 50-minute episode. Did not feel like you were sitting there for 50 minutes.
Yeah, no, not at all.
The graphics that they had in this episode, mainly in the splatter scene.
Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah, the splatter scene where, Hector gets hit by all the flying blood.
Well, yes, that's true.
And all that. And plus, even the graphics that we had in the fight there at the end of the episode. It was great. I will say this. Because somehow or another, the Fisks ended up in front of Matt's love interest.
Yep.
I am moving episode 1 up to a 4.
Ha ha! There you go.
Okay, because it's like, oh shit. Right? So we are moving that up to a 4, and I will be giving this episode. I'll give this one a 4 as well.
Nice. I like when we're on the same page. That, my friends,
since we're coming from 2 different ways.
It's true. That, my friends, is the end of this week's Avenger Pretenders. Next week, episode 3 of Daredevil Born Again, where we see the trial of Hector Ayala, also known as the White Tiger. And boy, is it a doozy.
Yeah, and we do need to know that the judge did decide that nothing can be said about it, nothing can be brought up about it, nothing can even be said about vigilantes.
Yes.
In the trial.
Yep. So, we're going to see that start to finish, which is going to be awesome. And a few other things too, some dates and stuff like that. Got to make it humanized a little bit.
Right.
We will be live again tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on Accidental Punch TV for The Sully Show, as well as on TikTok and Kick and DLive and YouTube and all the wonderful social media sites that we stream to on a regular basis. So make sure you tune in tomorrow night, 8 p.m. We got some awesome stories to talk about. We're going to have the trailer park as well. So make sure you tune in, have some fun with us on that one. And, for the redneck, there he is. Can't miss him. He's such a nice guy. And I'm the Geek Sully. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. And just remember, you know what I'm going to say. Thanos was right.